through conscious. It's a deep thing, man. But I seen how the ancients lived, and through me spending that time seeing how they lived in the past before Columbus, a lot of knowledge was soaked up. A lot. Please don't get lost and say, "Oh, Silas is high." What is? Get real. Please just get real for a moment. All the things I just broke down in this video, if it touched your spirit, then you know I'm not going. I just be having divine intervention. And the way they lived and their oneness with the life, and to put into words what you see is hard, but the way they lived with the animals, that was the deepest thing. Like, the animals did a lot of things for them. And the animals, and you seeing the animals do the things for them, it gives you a sense to understand just how smart the animals was. But it's deeper than that, because even when they break it down, I want to explain this without y'all getting lost, because y'all get sidetracked. Some people get lost, but however it is that I was able to experience how they lived before Christopher Columbus came here, just grasp the way they broke down how they viewed the animals as the ancestors, being as the way that the animals didn't communicate with the words, where's how lies come in. A man could lie when he could use words. He could make up something, trick people. But when you're just dealing with the way the animals communicate, where it's no words, they get that true passed down knowledge. So a zebra right now that live in Africa, he know everything about life that the first zebra ever brought into existence know. He know what every animal know damn near. Because there's nothing but truth with them being passed down. And the ancients, our ancestors from be tapping in, my head be starting to hurt. But with when they dealt with the animals, they viewed the animals as the ancestors. Like, it's deep. I'm not sure. Well, I am kind of sure. Sometimes they felt like their dead ancestors would take certain animals and be a certain. So it might be a certain bear that lived in a certain forest next to the tribe, and they may view that bear as one of their ancestors. But aside from that, they viewed the animals as the ancestors just of the planet. They viewed the animals as the divine ones on the planet that you learn from, like big brothers. They viewed the animals like their elders. That's a better way to say, not ancestors. But they viewed the animals as the elders on the earth. They basically viewed the animals as being here before man, therefore they knew more. So they pulled from the animals as elders. And just the way they dealt with the animals, and just to see the animals in that light, it gives you a whole different perspective. Like, I want to live like that. And I just hope I get a chance to live like that before I die. The way they used to sit around the campfire. And they used to play certain little instruments. Like, they understood everything about the life and the oneness with it. They would light marijuana. Now, marijuana is a plant, but this is a peaceful plant. It's something about marijuana that's weird, but when you smoke it, they understood how it brought out a sense of peace in yourself. It made people even laugh and joke. It was a peaceful, fun drug. It was very harmless. That's how they viewed the marijuana. It's very harmless. Out of all the things we have, like tobacco, cocaine, and the opium plant, and all these different divine gifts of God, they viewed the marijuana, that was child. They give that to the children. Like, it wasn't no big deal with the marijuana to them. It was just a peace. It was the peace drug. So they would sit around the fire, all hit the peace pipe, which would have marijuana in it. Some of the kids would too. The energy from the fire, and they would play certain sounds and things on those little flutes they would make, and they understood the tones and the connection of the tones and how that affected the spirit, with the marijuana bringing you into the peaceful, playful energies, and it was a beautiful thing the way they connected with one another in the evening times, because they did all this at night, because they understood that the energy that the moon push off is not as powerful as the sun's, but the moon is closer, so the energy has more effect on a person, if that makes sense to y'all. The sun's energy is more powerful than the moon. So when the sun is out, that's all you get. It blotches the moon out. Now the moon is still there, but the sun is just more powerful, even though it's farther away. But as we all know, the sun sets and it gives the moon a time alone with us. Now the moon is a powerful light, and it's way closer to us than the sun. So we get more influence or more effect from that energy, and they understood that. So at nighttime, man, they did a lot of tapping in, and it was just a deep thing. I wish I could just take y'all into my mind and take y'all to these places to just see how I see, because it's so deep, man. We losing out. We losing out so bad. When the white man came around and started coming into every nation and conquering it, during the process of them conquering it, so much was lost. The way of life, a lot of things in the life, certain seeds, certain foods went extinct, like certain fruits and vegetables went extinct when they was chopping down certain trees and just conquering certain nations. A lot of things were lost, ways to live and things like this, because they were already set on the type of life they wanted to create, where they were going to conquer. So they didn't really have no sense to listen, like, oh, no, let's look at the way we live first before you make a choice. They didn't give the Native Americans a chance. They already had in mind, we got to make this the new Amsterdam, the new Europe. So they weren't paying attention to what was going on with the natives. This is why when they raided the tobacco farms and the cocaine farms that the natives had, when they raided them, they forgot that there were recipes. So they had to go back and get the recipes, a lot of recipes to the cocaine and marijuana and tobacco farms. A lot of their recipes were lost. When I say recipes, I mean the different mixtures of the drugs for different purposes. The ancients had all this written down. They called it like books of spells and things like the Egyptians did. In different mixtures, the cocoa plant with this, and if you have this, you could use this for that. And when they were raiding these places, they was losing so much knowledge because they was being so thirsty they didn't even realize, like, oh, it's a whole system to the way they live. They don't just live like this because they don't know better. They live like this because they know better, and they got a whole system to this thing we don't understand. And maybe if we just sit a minute and try to grasp, it may be better than the way we live. They just came over there, seen, and they just took whatever they could take that they felt was better than theirs. Whatever they couldn't grasp at that moment, it was destroyed. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp, because now a lot of us are lost in those ways that we were born into. And that's why I say I wish everybody could just get a chance to see how I've been blessed with the opportunity to see many things that y'all just can't perceive right. Like slavery. It's not completely like how y'all think. It was a sad thing. Not because what was happening, because what y'all think was happening was not. It was deep. Y'all get lost on certain cases of things that happen. So Kunta Kinte got his foot chopped off, and we tend to think like this was happening to everybody, and that was not the case. Different masters was different than one another. Some were nice, some were mean, some treated their slaves better, but none of this matters. What matters is they lived in a certain way, and that is what we have to get back on. And this is why you have to understand, when I be teaching y'all certain things, y'all got to grasp. When I say you got to learn from the life, they learned from the life. They didn't teach one another. They guided you. They guided the children. They let the children learn from Mother Earth. They gave all regards to the earth, the trees, the things of the life. They understood the connection between trees and the earth, like how I broke down to y'all in the past. How the trees become the earth. The same way an apple falls from the tree, is buried in the dirt, and eventually becomes its own tree. So the same way the tree comes from the ground, it falls to the ground and it decays into the ground and becomes the ground, because that's what it truly is. You are what you came from. It's a deep thing, but they understood all these correlations, and they learned from these things, and they let the life teach them. And if they taught someone something, you see how when I teach y'all, I always tell y'all, man, I learn from the life. So I never give myself the honor and say I'm the wisest man on the earth because I'm wise. I always tell you, man, I'm the smartest mother effer on the planet. But I always say I learn from the life. So all the glory goes to the life. I telling you, learn from the life. I don't never be like, oh, you need to learn from me. You need to learn from the life. I help guide you to grasp, but that need to be your end result. And they were the same way. They'll guide you and they'll teach you, but they'll tell you, like, you got to learn from Mama Earth. When they teaching you there in the ancient times before Christopher Columbus, now I don't know if this is written down or nothing. Like I said, I see this. But they would tell the youth as they were teaching them certain things that Mama Earth taught them this, and that they have to learn from Mama Earth. Like, this is what she's here for. You just have to get in that to learn from her. The same way you learn from me, you have to begin to get comfortable and trust that this is your home and this earth is your mother. And she got you. As long as you in balance, and everyone that's living in your environment is living in tune and in balance in the same order as life, or the earth lives in, give and receive, and you have nothing to worry about. Animals won't attack you. People won't attack you. No one will take from you. It's all a giving thing. So everyone's receiving. They taught in that aspect. So it wasn't no distortion in trying to distort a child to be like, oh, he's my master teacher. They wasn't looking for that honor. As they just wanted you to honor the earth, because they understood, man, as long as you don't get lost from your connection with the life, then my life could be good. Because you won't be doing no dumb stuff like what's happening now. As long as you don't get strayed off, then life will be good. Once you get strayed off, others is going to stray off with you. This is going to cause an imbalance. And I don't need those headaches. So they tell you from jump, you got to learn from Mama Earth. There wasn't no master teachers before white men came and all this weird stuff y'all talk about now. That was just sick. Like, truly sick. To teach someone as if you made the life. They had so much respect for the life, the animals, and the trees in the same sense I do. I just couldn't possibly see myself saying I'm a master and all this weird stuff that y'all say. And that God gave me this knowledge. Like, that's a lie. The life is what I learned from. I taught myself everything. Nobody taught me nothing. But I learned with the help of the life. From observing. The same way most people learn before they corrupted. That happens around the time you 5. But before that point, you learn from digging in the dirt, playing with caterpillars or whatever you did, but you learn from the earth. And this is how men stayed on track with the life. Once you separate a man from the life and you start telling them, no, I'm God and this is God and worship this and learn from this book, then you separate him from the life and all the living things in the life. Next thing you know, he lost in business. He looking to build cities to separate himself more from the life. I know y'all love cars, but a car ain't better than a horse. It's nothing better than being connected with the living things in the life. You could ride on a bull. You could ride on a buffalo. You could ride on anything you choose. But you wouldn't waste time building metal cars. That's going to be the reason why you got to take away from the forest and all the life in it. Because now you got to build streets. It's a deep thing. In the ancient past, they ride on anything. The elephant, they were so in tune with the life. A goddamn eagle would pick them up by the shoulders if they were light enough. Because don't get it twisted, an eagle is strong. An eagle will pick up a 100-pound man. Scoop up a 100-pound man and drag him about a mile. Help him out. Get wherever he's trying to go. Like they were in tune with the life. Please don't put this down as no pseudo. This is the truth. For some reason, y'all live pseudo. Your car is pseudo to the horse. It say 400 horsepower. Yeah. 400 fake horses. Because it's an imitation of that. And it's a deep thing y'all got to grasp. The things I'm telling y'all ain't pseudo. Y'all live pseudo. And that's why y'all can't discern the difference. It's a deep thing. I never did a video an hour long. So it's the first time for everything. And I hope y'all enjoying every moment of it, man, and y'all eating it up. Because I'm truly in humble, peaceful spirits. As I told y'all in the past, I meditate. And I tapped in right before I did this video. I usually don't do that. I usually tap and do my meditation. Get my little oneness from the life. Try to acknowledge every piece of it. Like I take in everything. I pay attention to how I breathe. How much air is going in. So I could just, until I get to a point where I can feel every aspect within. I can feel the beats of my heart in my thighs. Like it's a deep thing. I can feel everything. And I meditate like that and I zone off, you know, and the divine conscious or spirit comes and it takes me. And this is how I learn divine things. And then when I come, I look at the life and then I see that what I learn is right. Because it's still in the life. Because the life is just one day. But it's a deep thing. I never do videos this long. I tapped in before I did this one. So this is why I'm in peaceful spirits the way I am. This is humble spirits. I just want y'all to get the message. That's the main thing. No ego intended in this video here. Because this one is the deep one, man. And it means so much. I just want y'all to truly grasp how much of the life we missing out on and how we're guiding our young, guiding us down the wrong path with all this business stuff and all this. It's a deep thing, but it's your main man Solace. I'm tired. Hopefully I eventually reach y'all, because I just want to get a chance just to show y'all the way the ancients or the ancestors are. I just want to show y'all my vision of what I seen, how they were living. And the only way I can show y'all is if I can get y'all to help me create it. Recreate what I seen and the way they lived and the way they were teaching one another. Like, I don't want y'all to get lost and think, oh, he talks some make-believe stuff. I seen them interacting in how they lived. No pictures. Real life. You can say I went back in time and I got a chance to see how they lived. I get to hear them speak and how they interact with one another. And they were strong people. It's deep. When you see them, they like us. Except we just so weak now. It's like, yeah, what the fuck? Slavery broke them down so bad. They were so strong in the past. And they were so at peace because they didn't have a need for nothing. It was a deep thing. The way everybody was just in a sense of peace. It almost looked like they were sad. But I could feel them. So they weren't sad. They was just in a state of peace. It was no true worries. It was just... You look at certain pictures of the ancestors, man, and they look like... And that was just a peaceful state. It wasn't nothing wrong with them. They was just... They didn't have the egos and things where we have to look cool. None of that mattered to them. They was just in tune. They wasn't paying attention to how their face looked. Oh, I don't look tough. They was just at peace. You can get your ass bust, that was on you. But how they looked and how they treated you had to do with the life. So if you had to get your ass bust, they would have still stayed in the peaceful state and just bust your ass in lesson sense. Like, oh, I'm about to kill you, but you have to learn because you just don't want to get it. And then scalp your ass and be in peace. It was a deep thing. The wildness didn't come until the white man came. That's when people started getting out of whack with the frequency and like emotions started running high, and they brought a whole different energy that just knocked the natives completely. It knocked them out of their energy field. And I understand why. The whites came with a whole different kind of way of thinking and a whole different energy set. And that, it overwhelmed the natives. It was a deep thing. Being as though they in that peaceful, humble state. Not saying that they couldn't fight back or nothing like that, but just to be in a peaceful state and then have to tap out of that and go into your animal state because you're dealing with animals. It's a deep thing. That knocks you out of your whole element. It knocked them off their frequency to where they almost became like the white men. Because they had to get into their animal instincts to fight these niggas. And a lot of their morality was getting lost in the things they had to do to basically try to keep their territory. Because white men live by different rules than they live. They live by certain aspects in their life. There were certain things you didn't do. If you killed somebody, you did it in respect still. It was no dishonor in life. You had to keep it 1,000. If you got to kill a man, you got to kill a man. But you're going to do it in respect, and you're going to give him his proper honors as a son of the life. Just like you are. And all that kind of stuff got lost. Men start pissing on men after they kill them and spit on them. There was no regards. Because this how white men was playing. And if you see one of your loved ones hung upside down on a goddamn piece of wood, hanging from a tree, you be like, man, when I catch one of them white motherfuckers, I'm a scalping him. I'm wearing this nigga's head like a hat. I'm a dishonor this nigga's body. Like, it takes you out of your frequency. Where you like, I'm going to their level. I don't give a fuck. That was my man they did that to. So this is what I mean by they knocked them so out of their energy. They knocked their whole peaceful aura in their way. Because they never get knocked off their square of peace. No matter what was going on. If it was war between different villages, the sense of peace was never lost. The elders always kept that sense of peace. And there was always control through the elders. So young men have to learn. You have to let them war. You have to let them learn. But nothing was never going to get out of hand. The elders was always there to overwatch. It's just like now. You let the boys fight. They got to learn and see who tough. Let us see. But you ain't going to let them kill one another. And they know that. So when I was growing up, some of the elders will let us square off and fight. But if they see me getting dirty or one of us pick up a bottle, you get yoked up. Don't do that, nigga. That's your brother. I know it's not like that in today's times. But when I was growing up, that's how it was. You get slapped in your face if you did some weirdo shit like that. Nigga, that's your brother. Y'all just having a fight for this moment. You can't fucking stab him. You can't hit him in the head with a bottle. The elders will tell you that. Nigga, we just letting y'all fight and burn that steam off, but you can't be trying to kill them. So we grew up understanding that. Like, and that's how they was, the way I seen it with the natives. You have little villages and different tribes warring with each other, but it was minute. It wasn't deep. The elders had all control. They just let them learn. Like, they gotta learn. Somebody might get killed. That's no big deal. As long as it don't get out of hand where you get to the point where it's being dishonored. A lot of dishonors happening in life where, motherfuckers is getting their heads chopped off and hung on stakes. When you see that in the Mayan times, you gotta grasp, like, that's the giant times. It's a deep thing y'all gotta grasp about the history of life. But that was the giant times. Wherever you see pyramids, man, that's the cities, the ancient cities of the giants. And the white people will be the remnants of them. This is what they basically breeded themselves down to be. By breeding with us, they pretty much breathed themselves out of existence and just become regular sized men, but they still white. But this don't have nothing to do with that. The main thing is we got to get back one with the life. And I'm going to end this video with that. It's your main man, Solace, Chief Elder Solace, the humble servant, or whatever you like to call me. But just know, people got to hear these messages that I'm bringing to the light. Y'all got to start the same way I'm bringing people to the light. If you view me, you got to start bringing people to the knowledge so I can guide them to the light. It's a deep thing. Don't be selfish with the knowledge for yourself and you just watch me and forget about everybody else. It's about balance. It's a deep thing. Y'all be like my apostles and y'all bring the flocks in so they can grasp and people can start to learn from the light. It's a deep thing. We got to get back in balance. And I think I could be the one to help y'all because I understand it's a deep thing. But I ain't going to go on no more. Y'all be groovy. Good night.